call autopilot, as engineered, as... what's another word that could work? Well, as powered by civil servants. And 5 p.m. brings conversations around the bill to remove political immunity from our top.
When in dire need of assistance or help within Rivers State, please contact the Rivers Emergency Service with the following numbers: 0904 022 2281 or 0904 022 2283 or 0904.
And now, hard facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. As we begin at the beginning, a motion seeking to immortalize the late Professor Humphrey Nwosu on Wednesday sparked intense controversy at the Senate, leading to a tense exchange among lawmakers before ultimately being rejected. The motion raised under matters of urgent public importance by Senator Einaya Abaribe and co-sponsored by members of the minority caucus Humphrey Nwosu aimed to recognize Professor Nwosu's contribution just of the democratic electoral process during 1993 presidential elections. However, there's always a however, so this is it. Just as Senator Abaribe began to present the motion, the Senate leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, raised the point of order, arguing that lawmakers had not been provided with copies of the motion, a procedural issue he claimed was a breach of Senate rules. But Senator Abaribe countered that the documents were available. The disagreement quickly created a charged atmosphere in the chamber, and citing divided public opinion on Professor Nwosu's role in the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election. Let's hear from the Deputy Senate President and, of course, the vote.
It's a bit controversial. Some see him as someone who truncated June 12. Some see him as a hero of June 12. So it's up to you. We'll put the question. Those in favor that this motion should go through, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The nays have it.
It's going to be difficult for me to trust voice votes. In this case, the nays actually sound like they are louder. But whoever the presiding officer is can conveniently hear one particular side louder than the other. We've seen videos where I think the nay was louder than the ayes. And somehow, the person with the gavel conveniently gave the ayes. And these things happen. It's a question of a lot of things. What if that morning, whoever's in charge has a problem with their ears and, the left side is not working well, and that's where the louder one comes. But for him, the volume is not as loud. There are too many problems that can arise from voice votes. But I think we need to, I'm not quite sure if they have that in the House, need to digitize it. All right, everyone has a button in front of them, aye and nay. When you press, the data is computed and the large screen shows 42 people voted for and 70-something voted against. That might be a better working system. At least we had to rig until you can. But the reactions to this motion is what makes us talk about it now. Not that the senators argued, it usually happens at plenary, not just in Nigeria. There are arguments relative arm of government in the world. As a matter of fact, they do the business of lawmaking by arguing. So if any country tells you our lawmakers don't argue, leave that country immediately, because progress will be very far from them. It is in the deliberations and the lobbying that laws are made and the people are properly represented, because not every opinion will be welcome. So it's okay to argue. The problem starts where it goes beyond argument and punches are thrown, fists, chairs are flying, then yes, there's a problem. So the reaction to this were along a few lines. The first was about ethnicity. Nigerians who decided to have an opinion said that many of the senators who supported this motion were from the southeast. So it was a tribal thing. Let us honor Humphrey Nwosu because Samuel Aliru, who is a senator representing Kebbi, also sponsored the motion. Yes, he was majority southern senators, of course from the southeast, but not all of them. There were others from other regions. So that already kills that argument. The loudest one was the position of the presiding officer, the Deputy Senate President, that while it might seem right to honor and immortalize Humphrey Nwosu, he was a controversial figure. Some people celebrate him as a hero for conducting and presiding over what has been called Nigeria's most credible election. Others think he also presided over an election where there was an injustice, the greatest robbery. And one to celebrate him, the other might think, no, Humphrey Nwosu is not the man. Another question is it possible that we have a sentimental attachment to June 12 because of what it represents, because of the place it holds in our democratic journey, because it was tagged the most credible election in Nigeria's history? At the same time, it was the biggest robbery of democracy. Maybe because that election was an attempt to transition from military to civilian rule. Maybe because Babangida wrote a book and admitted that indeed Abiola won, but my hands were tied with 2 ropes, chains, handcuffs, and barbed wire. Is it possible? Now, to objectively answer this question and question your own bias, bring this to modern day, make a modern day comparison. Do you think any INEC chairman from today deserves to be immortalized if, and this is the hypothetical part, they conduct credible elections? Let's use one that is still fresh in our memories. The election that former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan lost, that ushered in Muhammadu Buhari, that was an important election because it was the first time in the Fourth Republic testing and he lost. So you might say, well, that's a statement. If that election was credible, do you think that Professor Atairu Jega, who was the INEC chairman at the time, deserves to be honored and immortalized? If your answer is yes, then you can make a case for Humphrey Nwosu. Again, remember, I said if it was credible. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just putting it on the same pedestal of credibility. But if you don't think that he could be immortalized, then you might just say Humphrey Nwosu was simply doing his job. He was the chairman of NEC. He had an election to run, and he did it. So why should he be immortalized? Remember, it was rejected, but Nigerians had a few things to say. And I'm hoping you do as well. Now, do you think that Nwosu deserves to be immortalized? Are we bereft of credible elections that the only one we can point to and vouch for required immortality? The phone lines will open up in a bit as I head to the NYSC story, but just because I can, I want to hear that sound again.
It's a bit controversial. Some see him as someone who truncated June 12. Some see him as a hero of June 12. So it's up to you. We'll put the question. Those in favor that this motion should go through, please say aye.
Nays, actually, they had it too much.
Those against, say nay. The nays have it.
Funds of 77,000 naira to members of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, effective March 2025. This follows the implementation of a new national minimum wage, which increased to 70,000 naira. The Federal Ministry of Youth Development confirmed the payment on its official X page. The director of NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, confirmed the development in a statement released by the Acting Director of Information and Public Relations, Caroline Embu. He assured corps members that the government remains committed to their welfare and that all owed payments will be settled. Yesterday, while we were talking about corps members complaining about the arrears, some people sent messages to confirm that, well, they had already started receiving their 77K. And all over social media, there are videos of corps members jubilating, celebrating the receipt of their new reviewed and upgraded allowances. But, as you can tell, once again, Nigerians reacted. This comes as users who have to pay the government after they pay the 7K allowee. Now, the ex-users believe that the promise by the government was due to the criticism it received from core members recently. What do you people want? Core members complained that they had not gotten the new allowance, and they did not have faith or hope that the arrears will be paid. Federal government pays the money. Core members are now hailing federal government. Nigerians are attacking core member. What position can people hold that will not face some resistance or criticism? I'm not quite sure, but you and I get to find out together. The numbers to call are 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. We've talked about the Senate rejecting a motion to immortalize the NEC chairman, the chairman who conducted the 93 June 12 elections. We've talked about core members receiving their upgraded allowances. And coming up next, we'll be talking about the court ordering Rivers government to pay 1 billion naira for Waterfront demolitions. Please remember to turn off your radio as you call. Akpabio Jr. on WhatsApp says, I have never had President Senate say nay. It's always I. Well, the nay won this time. Please, was Dollar also shared to say nay? Come on. No. I would not let you reduce our Senate to this. Yes, there are allegations, but, come on. Oh, well, he says, June 12, 93 on my mind. Thanks, Akpabio Jr. from Port Harcourt. And Chisom said, I'm part of the nay for the immortalization. He also goes on to say, please leave core members alone. Clinton from Bori is my first call. Hello, Clinton. Good afternoon.
My brother, Saborako.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Go ahead.
I want to join and ask Nigerians, what do we really want? Because when this money was not paid, Nigerians are reacting. Core members are reacting. We like bad news so much in this country. Anything that goes against the government of the day, you see people reacting negatively. Today, yesterday rather, the federal government paid 7,000 naira to core members. And the core members are very elated, very happy, celebrating everywhere. Nigerians are still criticizing them. Why are they celebrating? What do we want? If you remember yesterday, I told you that Mr. President will deliver. I said it. He has delivered. And I want to keep saying this. I believe in President Tinubu. He has the heart of Nigerians. He has the plight of Nigerians, and he wants to deliver on his campaign promises to Nigerians. And I believe, going forward, before he gets to his second tenure, Nigerians will feel the impact of true democracy. The issue of immortalizing Humphrey Nwosu, you've seen it here, rather. You saw it in the senators for and against. They have voted. They voted against immortalizing him. But Nigerians will still come out and criticize the federal government for not immortalizing him, rather than blaming the lawmakers in getting the majority. So I think that we Nigerians, we are confused. Some of us, rather, we don't even know what we want. We just like criticizing everything that the government does, which is not supposed to be so. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Clinton, Emeka calls from Owerri. Hello, Emeka. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother in the studio. Emeka from Owerri.
Emeka, I'm struggling to hear you.
Are you not hearing me now?
It's a bit better now.
You see, you said it all. In Nigeria, Nigeria system, there is nothing Nigeria will don't talk of pride, religion, and other things. The issue of Jesus, I always say, I know little more about what transpired all through before, prior to Jesus and after Jesus. I even more outside of the causes of Jesus. That is that way. Because of the system, because of what happened in that day, about the what they call it, the emergency. He used voice vote. Any president determines the higher voice and low voice. That's exactly what happened and what you played now. But if you know the history, you can open the history of Britain without Humphrey Nwosu. Humphrey Nwosu played a very dangerous and even when he was working against Babangida. He took the risk to beat the result of the election almost halfway. When he was top.
Hello?
My name, yes.
Okay. Problem. End. Back to WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This time, the nays are having it, but theirs is still a touch of Ojoro in that house. I don't trust those house members. Okechukwu Michael from Rumigbo. You know, if there's anything I love to do is to have fun. I can play that sound a million times because I enjoy it. The nays actually did have it. Thank you, Okechukwu. Asetico A says, what's this new concept of voice vote instead of calculatable hand raising? If a process is applauded and the victor of that process is already immortalized, what is the argument about doing same for the catalyst of the same process? Some of you are aware that 10 persons can decide to shout louder than 20 persons since the previous stood in opposition. I thought democracy is about numbers and not loudness. Nigeria and America wonder. Yeah, Asetico, you make a point here, right? Because these nay guys, they really did seem like the terms are made at plenary. So yeah, for now, voice vote works.
Yeah, Mr. Oracle, I actually have always believed on the president.
Okay. Kingsley, are you there? Okay. He's always believed in the president. Please call back so we understand why you believe in the president. Praising federal government for paying 77K is like praising your employer for paying salary at the end of the month. Thank you. Malachi says, how can Igbo people get something in Nigeria? Why they've been subdued in the southeast? How many are they in the Senate? I pity South people that support. Okay, Malachi. It is important, very important, that this agenda ends here and now. Obed from Transamadi, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sam.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Sam, is it big to immortalize Humphrey Nwosu? I think, I don't know, we joke over everything. What is this immortalizing going to do to us? Just like he said, could it be because of the revelation made by the former head of state, Badamusi Babangida? Well, if it's because of that revelation, I believe that day was a very dark moment for Nigerians that should not be even bring into remembrance. You understand? Because what Babangida has done, and he knew on his actions, he could not, recall himself. Then he's telling us later how many, after 30-something years, thereabouts. And that's why we are going to have the current INEC chairman. After many years, he will come out and tell us that so thing happened, so thing did not happen. When Nigeria came out actually to express themselves through their vote, and at the end of the day, we saw a technical glitch on results to transmit presidential home, while results of a National Assembly have been transmitted, easily. So I don't even see the whole essence of this immortalizing. What is it going to give us? Right now we are facing economic challenge. I mean, they should focus on all these very economic challenge Nigerians are facing, not all this immortalizing that, bringing back bad memories to Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, indeed, we still have calls. Justice from Omodioga. Hello, Justice. Good afternoon.
My very good friend, Sam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
By the grace of God, for the last 2 months, I have been following Senate proceedings on their social media handles.
Okay.
The motion to immortalize the late Professor Humphrey Nwosu was first brought here today, but the Senate turned it down because they brought it through the wrong order, and today he brought out the motion again. Just like one of the persons that strongly opposed the immortalization, that is Senator Adam Shemole, on some of the things he pointed, he thought. So he does not want the recognition. And the federal government has also recognized MK Abiola as the winner of the election. So if the federal government can recognize MK Abiola as the winner, then why not we recognize and immortalize Humphrey Nwosu? I think what the Senate did today is undemocratic, just like what Senator Victor may said. He said that motion being rejected is undemocratic. I want to beg the Senate again. Let us revisit this issue. I am among those saying that Humphrey Nwosu deserves to be immortalized.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you very much. West from Asaritoru. Hello, West. Good afternoon.
Once again, good afternoon.
Welcome back.
Now, let us go to the Senate to hear the rejected or the vote against the Nwosu. First of all, let me tell you, the Senate, they have their standing orders and their standing rules in collaboration with the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. In this case, now, I'm happy that yes, the standing rule. Do you remember the local government chairman, the one that they just sacked? He just into an office, you saw his name, you remove the name and put different name. It has to go under the legislators. So this is something I want to believe that every local government, including the House of Representatives and the House of Assembly, have to do. Go with your standing rules and your standing orders. And now they've rejected it. But that is not the last thing. Definitely it must see come through again. If the House of the Senate member that will present that bill come to skin with your editorial rejected, a bill that has been rejected must come back to the floor of the House again. For this case, now I think they should put heads together. Let the man go ahead to robbing other status. It is case through. Thank you. I'm Honorable Gladwest. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Gladwest. Let's see. Cosmos Onyeneke has some opinions right here. Of course, leaning towards ethnicity. One of the questions is asking, what position did Abiola hold before June 12 was declared after him? Cosmos, I don't know how to answer this question. Okay. I'll just ignore it. ADM Elechi Simon says, good afternoon, Sam Oracle Chinedu. Government begins payment of minimum wage to NYSC core members is a welcome development, for at least it will put food on their table. I salute the federal government for that, while I urge them to improve on the economy. Kudos to NYSC members. Akabondo Godson, still on Facebook, says the federal government beginning payments of 77,000 to NYSC members. So nice. How about the backlog? Well, they promised that they will clear it. Thank God at Tuebu, Senate rejecting motion to immortalize Humphrey Nwosu, now turn by turn. When the state of emergency declared by the president came to plenary, none of the Southeast senators stormed out of the red chambers. Well, first of all, it was a closed-door session, and for the one they decided to open door, it was voice vote. Chikodiri Destiny says, federal government sometimes acts like toys. It cannot move, no shout until you press it. Kudos to them and to the lady who took the risk. Okay. Victor calls from Mile 3. Good afternoon, Victor.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
You see, those supporters of the president should not make those of us who don't actually buy their opinion to look at it. The man is not also our president. You know, the way they say some of these things, especially as regards the 77K, they should ask themselves, at when the previous amounts for coppers were allocated, the likes of 19.5, the likes of 33K, and the current 77K, how much or what is the purchasing power of each of these increments in the market? Are you aware that part of the complaint that young lady gave was that egg increased? Now let's use egg for instance. As at 19.5, a crate of egg was 9.50. So which means somebody who was receiving 19.5 can actually comfortably buy 19 crates of egg newly introduced and actually buy no less than 15 crates of egg, because I remember quite well that a crate of egg was 2K, if not less. Your 77K now, a crate of egg is 6,000. So which means if we do that by grading, you can't buy less than 7 crates of egg. And you are telling me to celebrate.
Victor.
Before, yes.
Do you own a poultry? This one, you know the generational price of crate of egg. Do you write it somewhere on your wall? The price of crate of egg every year.
It's an experience. If you want to even equate it to that of rice, look at it. It's half bag of rice. But when these other ones are paid, they can actually buy you 1 bag, 2 bags.
Okay, I'm not trying to trivialize. I'm not trying to trivialize what you're saying, but what do you do for a living?
I'm a scientist.
You're a
I'm a scientist.
scientist. Okay.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So in summary of what I'm trying to say is that this is like saying increase, that is to say, give you a gift with your right hand, collect it with left hand, and people are shouting, celebrating. When I went to serve just around 2023, from Port Harcourt to Benue State, where I served, was 6,000, which means my 33K can pay my transport fare 5 good times. Today now, from Port Harcourt to Benue, it's not less than 20-something thousand, which means you can't go to that place up to 4 times. These are things we begin to check and calculate and begin to make progress and begin to tell somebody that you're actually making progress. There is no progress in this amount given. That's why we are complaining. So whoever is saying, Baba, I've done well, should ask himself, what is the value of this money?
All right. Thank you, Victor. Purchasing power, not just the figure. You know, even in schools, to learn more about electoral transparency, deserve to be celebrated because things are getting tough by the day, and they really need it. Rivers government should settle the people with the 1 billion naira. You cannot keep doing things against the law because you are government, as Ichima from Omerilu says. I'll take Dede's call and quickly run through our final headline. Good afternoon, Dede.
I greet you, Canada. Okay.
My name is Sam.
Sam, sorry.
Go ahead.
For me, I think the high or the need must decide based on the eardrum and how louder and still the eardrum is used. So that is the reason why you can always have people that will stay high and low. Then the toppers that are rejoicing, that's okay. Because this is where we find ourselves. When they give us what we are looking, meanwhile those that think they can take they will be applauded by that same mouth and criticizing them as though there is something special. It's very unfortunate. What happened in the Senate today is very, very unfortunate. It's not tribal reason or sentiment. But when you use the word, that's to say before nobody brought that matter to the floor, would have lobbied for it. Lobbying means pay for it. And so that they have to collect money. Anything that you want to get first or second reading, you must pay for it. That is what the senators are representing now. Conscience is very dead in lawmaking in Nigeria. You buy any judgment, anything you want, you buy it. As long as you can have money and pay, you can buy anything you want. It's very unfortunate. We are watching.
Okay.
There is an end to everything.
Well, thank you, Dede. While the allegations of payment for motions, I can't prove that, but I would like to say, as I said earlier, on one of these days, I can't remember what day, lobbying does not equate bribery. It is important we understand the difference. Lobbying is legal. I say this because a lot of times I hear people use it interchangeably. When a person says lobbying, they make it seem like a person went through the back door. It is one of the many channels available to influence the decision of authority. So if you're saying that senators lobby for their motions, that's perfectly normal and okay. If you're saying they give bribes, then we have a conversation. So which is it? All right, Jude and Enzo, I'll be speaking to you shortly, but very quickly, our final headline for the big stories. The State High Court in Port Harcourt has ruled against the River State government, ordering it to pay over 1 billion naira in damages for the demolition and forceful takeover of properties in the Mile 1 and Mile 2 waterfront areas. The judgment follows a lawsuit filed by residents who claimed their fundamental rights were violated back in 2022. People living in Egede, Hiruala, Elechi Phase 1, Elechi Beach, Nanka Ogo Waterfront Okwere and Soko Waterside, among others, took the state government to court after their homes were demolished without notice. Delivering the ruling, Justice Sika Aprioku agreed with the residents' lawyer that the government violated their rights by failing to notify them before carrying out the demolitions. The only line I have is the judiciary has proven that it still is the hope of the common man. Enzo calls from Eliozu. Good afternoon, Enzo.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm well. How you doing?
Yeah, I like the last comment you made. The judiciary is the hope of the common man. The common man has eventually won a case against the government, which is a thing of pride for me. And so I always keep saying when people, the judgment goes against a particular party, that they start giving the policy, and it goes in their favor, they start seeing the democracy in action. Then as for the NYSC allowance, I laugh. They are saying them 77,000. People start coming up with flashbacks. Hey, how much is a bag of rice? Sorry, if I may ask. When a bag of cement was 1,000, how many of our parents could afford to build a house or buy the bag of cement? When Puzo was 2,000 something, how many of our parents could afford a Puzo? How many of us? In those days, where the bag of rice, 1 naira, 2 naira, how many people could afford a bag of rice? At a copper, you're earning 77,000. Don't live above your means. Like the copper who went on air was insulting the president. She lives in Lekki, has an iPhone, has a hair water and something thousand. A copper who has something thousand.
Come on, don't do that.
Does it make sense?
Why doesn't it make sense?
The government to put your expensive lifestyle. They are paying you 10,000. What you are code according to your size. Live according to the 10,000 the government is paying you. If you want to live above the 10,000, stop blaming the government. Stop blaming the government. That's simple as ABCD. There are lots of coppers who are living, they don't live above that 10,000 and they are comfortable.
Okay, Enzo.
The lady are saying a bag of rice was 2 naira yesterday. It is not 77,000.
Okay. So I have a break coming up. I wouldn't want the commercial to cut you off. Thank you very much. And I get it. The government will not fund your expensive lifestyle, right? You should live within. But it's also important to note that the average standard of living of a core member is not everyone's reality. I mean, we all went to schools where some people were already doing business as students way before they got into NYSC. So, while I get the point,